When two numbers are not equal, we would like to be able to talk about what order they come in. Now, what do we mean by order? So far we've used the words bigger and smaller kind of informally, but those can actually mean one of two things. We can talk about how far it is from 0, or we can be asking where it comes in the sequence of numbers, where we find it as we read from left to right. When we talk about ordering algebraically, it's this understanding that we're going to focus on. Why? Well, first of all, if we just want to think about distance from 0, we already have a method for forgetting about the direction. We just use the absolute value. Second, this understanding works really well with most of the ways that we think about negative numbers. For example, if we're thinking about a negative number as representing a temperature, well, -4 degrees is colder than -2 degrees. But 2 degrees is colder than 4 degrees. So we really want to think about order in this way, where numbers further to the left are considered less, and numbers further to the right are considered greater. And those are the technical terms that we're going to use when we want to think about order this way. Less and greater. In particular, we are going to say that A is less than B, and write this symbol, which we read as less than, when A is the number that is to the left on the number line. And we will say that A is greater than B, and write this symbol when A is the number that is to the right on the number line. So, for example, let's take a look at a number line for a moment. So looking at this number line, we see that all of the negative numbers are less than 0. All of the positive numbers are greater than 0. We can write, for example, -4 is less than -3. -1 is greater than -2. 2 is less than 3. 3 is less than 4. 4 is greater than 1. If we throw in some fractions on this number line, say, split my unit into 2 equal parts to draw 1/2, or split it into 3 equal parts to draw 1/3 and 2/3, we see that 2/3 is greater than 1/2, but 1/3 is less than 1/2. So, to figure out what order two numbers come in, we just need to look at them on the number line and see which one is on the left and which one is on the right. Now, what happens when we include variables in this? When we include variables, we get a sentence that might be either true or false, depending on what number the variables represent. So, for example, consider the sentence, x is less than 3. This is true if x represents any of the numbers that are to the left of 3 on the number line. So it's true if x represents 2, 1, 0, or any of the negative numbers. It's also true, remember there's a whole bunch of numbers in between 2 and 3. This is still true if x is one of the numbers that's in between 2 and 3. Even if you get really, really close to 3, if x is 2 point a whole bunch of 9s, but it stops being true when x is exactly equal to 3. And it's false if x is any number that lies to the right of 3 on the number line. If we want to write a sentence that is true for all of these numbers, and also true for x equals 3, but not true for any of the numbers to the right of 3, we instead write x is less than or equal to 3. So notice this symbol is a less than sign with a little bit of an extra line underneath it. The little extra line underneath says that it's also allowed to be equal. We can think something similar about greater. The sentence x is greater than 3, well, it's true if x is any of the integers greater than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's also true in between 3 and 4. It's even true when we get down really close to 3, so 3 point a whole bunch of zeros and then a 1. But just like less than, greater than is false right at 3. And it's false for any of the points to the left of 3. Just like with less than, if we want a greater than sentence to be true right at the number, we have a new symbol. We have a greater than or equal to symbol to go with the greater than symbol, just as we had a less than or equal to symbol to go with the less than symbol. Notice, when we were just working with numbers, less than and greater than were very concrete. We had no need for these less than or equal to or greater than or equal to symbols, right? If I have two numbers, either one is less and the other is greater, or the two numbers are equal. But when we're working with variable expressions, we are talking about what values are allowed for the variable.